Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm Jeremy Long, the Full Metal Traveler. Lots of stuff happening right here in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we're coming to you from. My co-explorer, as always, Amy Long.
Hi.
Hey, good to see you again. Good to see all of you two out there in the world doing wonderful things. You know what? And we're coming to you about camping. That's what we want to talk to you about today. I know it's a subject we touch on now and then because, let's be honest, Amy, you're not really a fan of camping.
It depends on the kind of camping. I do not want to sleep in a tent. I don't want to sleep in a sleeping bag on the ground. But in an RV, in a cabin, those types of situations, I'm not opposed to.
Okay.
I do, however, enjoy actual plumbing. So if your camping means that I have to use the bathroom like a bear.
What is like a bear? Explain it to me.
You know exactly what I mean.
What do you mean? In the woods?
Without plumbing. I'm not going to do it.
No. Explain in detail what a bear means.
You tell me.
Okay. So this episode is about camping, and more specifically, the camping trends that they're seeing over the course of the last few years. And this is information painstakingly gathered by the Dyrt and the folks over at the Dyrt.com. That's DYRT. And if you've ever looked for a campground for your RV or maybe primitive camping or anything like that, you've probably come across the Dyrt.com or the app. It's where you can go on and reserve campsites, or if you own a campground, you can list your website and all the amenities and things that you offer for campers. So it's a very big deal. And a little bit later on the show, we're going to talk to the CEO of the Dyrt, Kevin Long, whose company, the Dyrt's 2024 annual report on camping trends is just coming up. So it just came out. This is why we're talking about it, and we're going to talk to him and go into further details. But we're also going to chat a little bit about some of the problems that campgrounds have been facing over the last few years, and also the solutions and where these trends are taking us and what the numbers are showing us. So it's a very interesting show so far. So why are you giving me this look? Like you already look uncomfortable.
Well, I don't like you telling people I don't enjoy camping. I mean, it's, we've both talked about it before. We did not grow up in wealthier families. So camping's kind of how we vacationed when we were younger. It's something that my family did every year for vacation. We camped a few different ways. My grandparents had an RV. A few times we would go stay in a tent or in a little cabin. So I have done a lot of camping. I just prefer not to do primitive camping, which is something you enjoy doing.
Invented homes so to not
exactly.
sleep. Okay, I get it.
I like electricity and plumbing.
I get it. Well, perfect for you. The trends, we're going to talk in deeper detail, but the trends are saying glamping.
Yeah.
Is starting to gain more and more traction. The number one camping way to camp is still recreational vehicles. So having plumbing, not sleeping on the dirt,
I like to be outdoors. I don't want to sleep outdoors.
The outdoors would be perfect if, minus all that pesky nature, right?
I like nature in smaller doses.
Well, here is the problem. There's a segue there. Here's the problem that a lot of campsites have been facing over the last few years. Now, the last few years, obviously, have been something of an enigma for us. We endured a worldwide pandemic, which for a while there, it made us estranged from our neighbors. And the only thing that we could do was really get outdoors in a safe distance from other people. And it really affected the camping community because what's one of the best things you could do outdoors? Well, go camping.
Right.
So those numbers in the pandemic started shooting way up, which was great. People were getting out, but it caused an unforeseen problem, which was it was 4 times harder to book a campsite in last year in 2023 than it was in 2019.
Really?
And those numbers, jumped up and down within those pandemic years. So at one point, I know it was like 5 times harder. Like you just could not find a campsite anywhere because that's what people were doing. And here are a couple of numbers that back that up. 45% of campers had difficulty booking a site because campgrounds were completely sold out. Now, this number fell from 58% in 2022, but it's still 4 times higher than the rate it was in 2019, which was only 10%.
So half of campers, basically, half,
Yeah.
could not book a site, is what this is saying.
You were having difficulty. Even if when you use sites like the Dyrt, which the Dyrt, I will brag on them for a second. They do have what they call Dyrt alerts, which will yes,
You made me snort.
which,
Dyrt alerts.
Dyrt alerts.
That's adorable. I love it.
Which will tell you and ding to your phone when a full campground has availability.
So do you go in and say, like, these are the campgrounds I'm interested in? Mm-hmm. And when it has availability, it'll let you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah, very, very convenient. Sorry, I'm messing with things over here. Yeah, but so they'll ding your phone and let you know. So even with sites like this, it was rather hard to find a campsite reliably. 23% of campers that arrived at a first come, first serve campground oftentimes found it completely full.
So campgrounds that don't do any reservations.
Yeah, they don't do reservations. It's first come, first serve. You show up there first thing in the morning and it's completely full.
And
so
1
now
in 4.
Where do you go?
Yeah, okay.
And that's way, way up from 2019, which was about 11%. So you're seeing how like people getting out, it's a good thing, also has unintended consequences. You want to get outside, you can't.
Right.
And a lot of campgrounds, I mean, where do you go? You end up having to drive way out of your way or somewhere less desirable, and that's just kind of the risk of it. But there are ways that campgrounds are coming up with solutions. Less than half the campers, 42%, used reservations at all in 2023. Oh, man, 87% canceled with more than 48 hours. Now, this is about like, kind of being courteous to your fellow camper. 87% were pretty courteous. They canceled with 48 hours notice. Something happens, grandmama, she was throwing shooting knives or ninja stars.
That's still a lot.
Got one in her foot.
87% of campers cancel.
Yeah. 32% canceled with less than 48 hours notice. And almost 15% of those campers just completely no-showed. Or as the children say, they ghosted.
Well, so half of campers couldn't find sites to book, and of the half that did, 87% canceled those reservations.
Yeah, it was a conundrum, And when you're already dealing with a very limited amount of spaces, you can see where the frustration for campers.
It's a conundrum.
It was a lot of ballyhoo going on, especially with those millennials and Gen Zers, which were 52% more likely to no-show than Gen Xers and baby boomers. Hey,
How
baby
rude.
boomers make a plan. Stick to it, by God.
How rude.
How rude. And it's not only just the generational, it's also socioeconomic wise, because campers that earned more than $250,000 in a household were more than twice as likely to no-show.
Really?
As those that earned less than $50K.
So if you make more money, you're just going to skip out on plans?
Bro.
Is that what it's saying?
I am taken aback by this. So a lot of problems. The main one being not enough space.
Right.
So, when we come back in just a minute, we're going to talk about what campgrounds started doing to, combat these problems, come up with some solutions with their offerings, which in themselves started coming up with other unintended consequences. We're going to get into it, man. It's the Unscaled Travel Show. Keep it right here.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm Jeremy Long, the Full Metal Traveler. Remember, you can find all of our past episodes and interviews at fullmetaltraveler.com. Here with my co-explorer, Amy Long.
Hi.
And we are talking about the 2024 camping report from the Dyrt. That is thedyrt.com, D-Y-R-T. Be sure to go to thedyrt.com and sign up for their Dyrt alerts.
I love it.
I love it, man. In a little bit, I'm going to chat with Kevin Long, CEO of thedyrt.com. No relation, but he's a very cool guy. So, it just runs in the name, I guess. Now, we chatted a little bit before the break about some of the problems that campgrounds and campers faced in the last few years. Now it's time to talk about some of the solutions that campgrounds have put in place as far as combating space and, the ability to find available campsites on the go, on the fly. And it all comes down to a couple of things. Number one would be technology.
Yeah.
Utilizing technology that's out there. Technology, of course, is making it easier to find camping and available camping. And when those people are courteous enough to, come up and say, hey, we're not going to make it, let me cancel this campground. Well, it offers it up to someone else in real time, which is good. 59% of private camping properties now use at least one booking platform, such as the Dyrt, to list their campsites, whether it's RV, primitive, or other.
Yeah. My grandparents used to go camping every summer for about 6 weeks. They would take their RV out. They would drive across the country. They had been to every state in the United States. But this was before the internet. And I remember they had this giant book of various campgrounds across the countries, because you used to subscribe to these magazines and things, and you would get a listing, and it looked like a phone book, and it was just campgrounds.
Wow.
And it would list out by state, and there would be maps, and that's how they would find their campgrounds to go camping. But imagine having basically a phone book of campgrounds that you have to go through and plan your trip that way.
Remember phone books, kids?
That's an old statement.
Yeah, that's a very old-fashioned statement.
But yeah, technology obviously makes it a lot easier.
And we're making fun, and we're kind of poking fun at these Dyrt alerts. But we mentioned in the last the last segment that Dyrt alerts, when you go there and sign up for them, they notify you in real time when sold out campsites open up. So if you're really hoping for a spot, say near Zion National Park or something like that, which is notoriously hard to get into because it's so very popular out here in the Western United States, it opens it up in real time and says, hey, we got some spots available. You got to act fast.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't have a whole lot of notice. But if it's, on your list, then you jump on it as quick as you can. So more campsites. Speaking of more campsites and what they're doing, 60% of camping properties have added new sites in 2023, up from just 24% in 2022. Places really started expanding quickly because the main concern was, hey, man, there's not enough room.
So is this, they just, when you say expanded, they made their current campground bigger, or they've opened an additional campground somewhere else, or maybe both?
Maybe both. Sometimes it's both. 25% of these properties expanded their season.
So opening up and staying
longer.
Okay.
Usually, they close down at September 1st, like Labor Day weekend or something like that might be.
Typically people don't camp in the winter.
Now it's opening up. And that's part of the trends, is that the calendar is kind of staying open almost year round. A lot of people now, and we're going to talk about it here in just a little bit. Actually, might as well just talk about it now. Now, we're saying that 25% of these properties expanded their season, which was up from 18% the previous year in 2022. Fall was the most common expansion. You get into fall. Fall has still got mild weather in most places. But a lot of people, winter time, people are going more winter camping. They are bracing for the cold and the snow and those harsher conditions, or we might consider non-peak conditions. And they're saying, hey, it's still fun. Yeah. Still get out here.
I guess too, it kind of depends on where you're camping. I mean, probably less camping up in the northern states where there's a lot of snow, but midway across the country and down, at least in the U.S. and I'm sure in other countries too, the winters aren't that bad. You can be outside and you're not in 3 or 4 feet of snow. In other countries, winter is actually summer. I mean, the winter calendar is actually their summer season.
Yeah, say like Australia, which is opposite ours, beautiful camping, just opposite of our scheduling and everything, but they have some wonderful, outback options down there. Of course, our friends in Hay, Australia, where our show airs, they could probably tell us all about it. Then to go more back to what you were asking, 35% of property owners added more RV sites, which is the most common type of site that you can expand to, or that they started expanding to, which is just opening up and having hookups for electricity and sewage and water.
Which we know people RV, but we were kind of surprised a few years ago when we personally went on a road trip to the Grand Canyon and a few other places, Horseshoe Bend, and we saw so many people who had those, was it Cruise America? RVs that you can rent.
Yeah.
So many people were in those on the road. I think it was the first time we really realized that people rent RVs and do this for extended amounts of time. So it makes sense that these campgrounds are expanding RV sites.
I know we did an episode a while back with Boho Campers out of Phoenix, and they do that. They offer vans and campers, for rent, and you can take them out on the road. And it really was. I don't know why I never thought about that, but you see these campers all over the highways, and there may be 1 or 2 people, maybe your dog or something. But people were getting out there and showing, just showed up at a campsite and hook it all up, and boom, you're good to go. And kind of keeping with that, now they're offering, a lot of campsites have expanded with their offerings as well, adding glamping. Glamping is something that over the last 10 years has really exploded in the United States. I want to say all over the world, first appeared, I think, in England years ago, in the UK. But 46% of properties have added a new type of campsite, with glamping being the most popular of those options. And they're also expanding their amenities as far as Wi-Fi, pickleball courts, dog parks, kayak and canoe rentals, and even basic things like showers, which used to be primitive camping.
Yeah.
Is primitive camping. You stink. I know all about that. But you know what? It also kind of led to another issue, which was, hey, you expand all these amenities, you offer better Wi-Fi, prices got to go up.
Yeah.
So a lot of, almost 50% of camp properties raised their rates in 2023, and then 36% of properties look to raise their rates again this year. So more amenities, means more comfort, more accessibility, but it also means a little bit more in price. When we come back, we're going to chat with the CEO of the Dyrt, Kevin Long. We're going to dive deeper into this 2024 camping report. Keep it right here. It's on Unscaled Travel Show.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. In 2023, an estimated 85 million Americans went camping, with over 5 million of those first-time campers. And if you're into recreational vehicles or camping of any kind, you've probably come across the Dyrt.com. I know I have. And millions of campers each year look forward to their annual camping report. Here to chat with us a little bit about the 2024 edition of that report that was just released, actually, is Kevin Long, CEO of the Dyrt. I know you're out there on the road. Hey, man, I wouldn't trust the CEO of a camping company or camping, technology like you guys if you weren't always out on the road.
Yeah, it's amazing, Jeremy, to get out on the road, have the flexibility, and then also just to be meeting our customers all the time and finding out what do they think about the Dyrt? How can we improve the Dyrt? It's pretty awesome.
For those who may not know, why is it that you guys started compiling this information, and why, in your opinion, do you think so many people look forward to its release every year?
Yeah, well, the backing up on the Dyrt, we are the top ranked camping app, and we've been around for a decade now, and we've been watching these trends and watching the evolution of the camping industry for so many years. And then we thought, we have such a huge community, over 30 million visits a year on the Dyrt. Let's start capturing this data and let's start watching these trends year over year. So we started doing that, and it's been really great. We're on multiple years of this annual camping report. This year, we partnered with the all-new Toyota Tacoma to really get the information out there. And it's packed with some trends, of which you've already stated early on, of camping is growing, right? We're hitting 85 million campers. And you mentioned the new campers just in this last year. But Jeremy, if you look at the new campers since 2021, we're talking about 20 million people in the U.S. that camp for the first time since 2021. Wow. So it's really fun to look at these stats.
When you're looking at, as the CEO of the Dyrt, you've been doing this for a number of years and everything, were there any stats or figures in this year's report that kind of initially jumped out at you or maybe even surprised you?
Yeah, so the 2024 camping report, the biggest thing that stood out for me is we always do this stat of how hard is it to find available campsites to book, right? Anyone who's a camper knows if you're trying to book a site, it's hard. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of more people coming into camping. And we have a stat that it was 4 times harder to book an established campsite in 2023 than it was in 2019. Now, what's interesting about that, Jeremy, is last year, that stat, it was 5 times harder. So what that's telling me is it's still really hard to book a campsite, but it's a little bit less hard than it was last year. Now, why is that? Well, I think there's 2 trends happening there. One, private campground owners are expanding their sites. They're creating a lot more availability. That's starting to loosen it up a little bit. The other thing that's happening is camper trends are starting to move more towards vehicles, and campers are getting better at understanding this option, which is very popular on the Dyrt, free camping. Lots of public land that you camp for free anytime. You don't need a reservation. So between those 2 things, I think it's easier for campers to be able to get that location they want and have that beautiful night outside.
How has the Dyrt kind of interacted with this? And you see these trends, you see these stats. Is technology making it easier to find available campsites? And what is the Dyrt's role in all of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, that goes back to the very beginning of this Dyrt, of why did we start the Dyrt? Why did Sarah Smith say, I am going to start this company called the Dyrt, and I'm going to crowdsource these pictures, videos, and reviews of campgrounds? Because the problem is you have all these government sites that have little pictures of the campgrounds. Every campsite looks the same. Jeremy, if you're responsible for being the one to choose your weekend or your vacation for your friends or family, it's a lot of pressure. You want to pick the right spot, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, 100%.
100%. And when you're that person, it's the same thing as when you're picking an Airbnb. You want to see pictures, you want to see reviews. So that's what sets the Dyrt apart, is that not only do we have all the campgrounds from public to private to free camping, but we also put a huge focus on building community and crowdsourcing the most pictures, videos, and reviews of campgrounds. We now have more than anybody on the internet. We have over 12 million. It's crazy even just saying that number when I think about it. 12 million user-submitted pictures, videos, and reviews of camping, designated camping and free camping across the U.S. That is the secret sauce to the Dyrt. It's not just what we built. It's a nice piece of technology. It's ranked the #1 app, but it's the community that has come together and put the content in it over all these years that have made the Dyrt such a special thing. So that's the biggest thing that we do to help campers find that right spot, because everybody wants something different, right? And by having the reviews and the pictures, you can find what you need, and then you can make those special moments, those special weekends, those special vacations by using the Dyrt.
If you guys want to check it out, it is thedyrt.com. Dyrt is spelled D-Y-R-T, just letting you know. I don't know where the other one goes. I would clear your browser history if you go to it. You mentioned just a few minutes ago. Go ahead.
You can also go to the App Store and just type in. You could type in camping, and we are the #1 ranked app for camping in both Android and iOS.
You mentioned a little while ago that campers are exploring these new ways to camp. They're discovering all kinds of new ways. We touched on it just a little bit, but let's dive a little bit deeper into it. Explain to us a little bit about what you guys are seeing when it comes to folks discovering like new camping options, free camping and such.
Yeah, so the 2024 camping report that we put out with the new Toyota Tacoma, it really looked into this of like, what are the different things that we're seeing? And a few things that came up that were interesting. One is that RV as a primary camping type is up 10%, right? Just in this last year. That is interesting to us because we feel like that goes in of why free camping has also gotten more popular, because it's just a lot easier to do when you're in a vehicle, right? And you're self-contained.
Yeah.
And you can follow the leave no trace practices easily. The other thing we saw is that overlanding as a primary type of camping doubled in this last year. So a little bit more rugged backcountry is getting more popular. And then 2/3 of campers camp for free in 2023. That's double the rate in 2019. So what that's showing us is free camping is definitely increasing. That was kind of a big push out there. The other thing we found in the Dyrt annual camping report is we asked people what kind of vehicle would be your ideal vehicle, and you got trailers, you got big RVs, you got different kinds of vehicles. The #1 answer to that was the ideal vehicle is a truck. Currently, though, we asked them as well, what vehicle do you use now? And that answer came back of they currently are using SUVs, but desiring a truck, right? And you think about this, with the trucks, it's amazing what you can do with the pop-ups, the backs, the rooftops. There's just so many options, and you have so much storage. So we're seeing that as a trend moving forward as well.
Have one thing, need another, man. I'm telling you, and you don't really discover that until you're out there, and then you're like, oh man, well, I know a lot of husbands might be bringing that up right now, honey. They said in the report we need a new truck, so I'm sorry.
Hey, look at this. Look at this picture of this new Toyota Tacoma. I think we should think about this.
I got to do what Toyota and Kevin Long say. We got to go get a new Tacoma right now. That's
it's a fact. It's facts.
Kevin, thank you so much, man. If people want to find out more.
Well, the best place to find us is go to your app store and look for The Dyrt, THEDYRT. Your other option is to go online to our website at thedyrt.com, THEDYRT.com, and the report is free to access.
There you go. Kevin Long, CEO of The Dyrt. Stay right here, folks. After the break, we're going to have more from the Unscaled Travel Show. We'll be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm Jeremy Long, the Full Metal Traveler. As always, you can find all of our past episodes, interviews, all of that good stuff at fullmetaltraveler.com. I'm with my co-explorer, Amy Long.
Hi, guys.
And we are chatting about the 2024 camping report from The Dyrt. You can find this at thedyrt.com. That's THEDYRT.com. Sign up for their Dyrt alerts. I love it. I will forever say they're Dyrt alerts. Man, that is such a funny thing. They're very useful. We're coming to you from the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios in Las Vegas, Nevada. Talking camping trends. Thank you so much to Kevin Long, the CEO of The Dyrt. Now, obviously, we didn't get into everything. There is so much information in their 2024 report. So go to thedyrt.com, check out the report for yourself. But we're also going to talk some more about the camping trends that they have listed in there. And you can check out the full interview. There is, we had to cut it down for time. There is a full interview we do with Kevin Long. It is on fullmetaltraveler.com right now. Check it out. It's incredible information. Thank you so much to Kevin for letting us chat with him. So some of those trends, people may be wondering what's going on, where are we headed? And some of them are kind of obvious, especially because most of these facts and figures are about American campers.
Right.
And camping right here in the United States. And I know our friends in Europe love to, during their summer breaks and holiday breaks, they love to come to the U.S. and rent these campers and like drive around the United States.
Yeah.
For like a full month.
Yeah, I wish we could do that here in the U.S. Get all of August off and just go rent a camper van in Europe and just drive around Europe for 4 weeks. But unfortunately, Americans have this obsessive need to work all the time, which I think is probably most evident by the fact that campgrounds are adding Wi-Fi so that people can be connected even out in the wilderness.
That's a good segue. 28.9%, almost 30% of campers worked while camping in 2023, which was up from 22.6%. So it's steadily climbing. So people are trying to find that work-life balance, but they're working while they're camping. Because, hey, your boss is like, yeah, I know you're out there in the mountains, but I see you got Wi-Fi, bro. I'm going to hit you up on Slack. And, hey, did you get that thing I sent you? Wi-Fi is the most common amenity offered by campgrounds, with over 75% of campgrounds offering it. So you're always kind of connected.
Right. Which, the way things are now, people watch TV through Wi-Fi. Everything is, you need Wi-Fi to do it. So, I mean, probably not everyone connecting to Wi-Fi while camping is working. I mean, I think you said the stats around 30%. But, isn't the whole point of camping to get out into nature and reconnect with, the trees and the stars and whatever?
So a while back, me and about 5 of my buddies went to Glacier National Park, and we started near the Canadian border, and we hiked about 50 miles through the outback country and camped at different lakes. No cell service after the first day, and it was beautiful. And you after the first day, you don't miss it. You instinctively, I think your first day, whenever you're snapping photos, might hit your mail or hit Facebook or something like that. It's instinct. But after that first day, you only break out your phone whenever you're videoing something or taking pictures. And it wasn't until that last day when you're finally back into like civilization that everyone's phones start going off and are constantly updating after like 5 days of not having cell service. And you're almost a little bit sad. And I did chat with my buddies about it. We were almost a little bit sad. We're like, we're back.
Suddenly reconnected.
Yeah, you're suddenly reconnected. And then like, well, we're sad. And like 30 minutes later, we're like watching Netflix.
Yeah.
So it happens.
You're all on social media, texting your significant other, sending photos, and just, being connected in every possible way, technology-wise, to somebody.
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying it's just what it is right now.
I do think people need breaks from it, though. I mean, and camping is a great way to get a break, but we can't always disconnect from work. I've had the same issue on previous trips where I have to at least check my email once a day or run a report or something. So it's nice that you do have the option while you're camping. And
we fully say that knowing that we are Americans and we can't tear ourselves away from working. You mentioned earlier about winter and the amount of people kind of going into these seasons, and 1/3 of campers now camp in the winter time. Winter camping rose 40% during the pandemic. It has not tapered off. It's not something that they think is going away.
I find that very interesting. I mean, I'm not surprised camping increased during the pandemic, but that camping increased for the winter season, and people are still doing it.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm not particularly a fan of snow, being out in the snow and things like that. Maybe because I grew up in and a warmer environment.
Right.
But I know some people that swear by it because
They swear by it.
Yeah, they swear by it because like the campgrounds are more open.
Yeah.
It's still peaceful because even snow falling,
Yeah.
admittedly, is peaceful out in the woods. As the wolves hunt you. I don't know where they came from.
I mean, I guess it is less populated. Less people are out, and there are a lot of winter activities. A lot of people ski and sled and snowshoe, do all that stuff.
Snowshoe. Yes, they do. They snowshoe.
If you're going to do all that, why not camp? I don't think people are necessarily sleeping in tents in snow doing this, but maybe they are.
They do it. They sleep in tents. They have these tents that are all formulated, just like your I don't know, sleeping bags and things that are formulated to like negative 24 degrees.
That
that'll keep you warm and.
Not fun to me.
It sounds not fun to you, but some people they're crazy. My
I'm
friend
not
John,
knocking it for other people. It's just not something.
My friend John, he loves that stuff. Speaking of solo camping, and we mentioned earlier glamping are both rising steadily. 29% of campers reported camping solo, at least one time in 2023, which was up from 18% in 2021. And a good majority of property owners say they are now offering glamping options, which we talked about that earlier. They're expanding what they offer to different types of campers. Some people live to primitive camp. Some people RV. Some people are finding their first camping experiences through glamping. It's a little hard to leave the TV behind sometimes. Hey, I get it, man.
It's just a big fancy tent, right?
It's a big yurt. They have yurts.
It's a real bed. You're not sleeping on the ground.
Oh, no. Some of their beds. Some of these yurts and safari tents are nicer than our first house. I'll tell you that. I put a hand on the Bible on that one. These things are nice.
Well, that's not hard.
Yeah. But 9% of campers went glamping in 2023. Of that 9%, almost half of them were glampers for the first time. This
Gotta
is the
try
very
it.
first time doing it. Man, I'm telling you, there's some properties that I chatted with a while back for a story I did for Matador Network a while back, talking to glampers in Texas and these properties that offer these different alternative camping experiences. And they got some nice properties out there. I mean, they're like resort type properties, and they're gaining steam, which is also something, we've chatted with, and I chatted a little bit with Kevin Long during that interview you might have heard. We talked a bit about diversity in camping, people wanting different experiences, but also the backgrounds of the campers themselves is continuing to up themselves as being more diverse, which is really wonderful to hear because for a long time, let's face it, it was kind of a honky activity.
Okay.
It was one of those activities that for white folk, I don't know why, right? I know why, but but that's okay. We've been canceled, and how many? Okay, a lot of cities, but that's okay. Look,
It probably has to do with the wolves that were hunting people.
no, 10%, almost 10% of Black, Indigenous, and people of color respondents for this survey camped for the very first time in 2023, and they are themselves, almost 18% more likely to camp during the wintertime.
That's
Interesting
interesting.
stuff. So there's a lot of information to go over. Check it out. Go to the dyrt.com, DYRT.com. Check out the 2024 camping report. Check out the full interview I do with Kevin Long, the CEO of the Dyrt, at fullmetaltraveler.com for all that great information. And where's some popular camping spaces that you like to go? Let us know. Hit us up through the website or on the social media. Check it out.
Sign up for those Dyrt alerts.
Sign up for Dyrt Alerts. It's the Unskilled Travel Show. We'll see you guys next time.